It is 2021 and you want to be an ethical hacker. Well, you've come to the right place. My name is the Cyber Mentor and I do thank you for joining me. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to become an ethical hacker in 2021. We'll talk about the steps you need to take, the path, the journey, some of the fundamentals that you need to have in order to be an ethical hacker. So with that being said, if you like the video, please do hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and do comment down below, especially if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything at all. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Before we get started, I do have to say that this video is sponsored by Intigriti. Now, if you see this little logo on my shirt, that is the awesome little Intigriti logo. And if we take a look at their website, you can see that they are a European-based ethical hacking and bug bounty platform. All of their clients are based in Europe. It does not mean that you have to be from Europe to hack on their platform. So if you want to earn some money, you want to do some cool stuff, do some hacking, and do it legally, Intigriti is a great place to do it. All you have to do is come in here and sign up. I actually have a link in the description below. I'll also put the link on the screen right now. If you're interested, sign up, go to the public programs, look them up, and just start hacking away, find some bugs, earn some money, and do great things. Okay, so this video is actually going to be based on what started out as a Twitter thread that got thousands of likes. And then we moved into posting it on a actual blog, and that got a ton of great feedback as well. A ton of upvotes on Reddit, LinkedIn, all over the place. Okay, so I said, you know what? There are people that just reading's not for them. I'm one of those people, actually. I'd rather watch a video, digest it, have a complete digestible path. So that's what this video is going to be about. So I'm really excited to kind of talk about where we need to go and what paths we need to take to get into ethical hacking. All right, so before we begin, I need to stress a couple of things. The first thing is that you need to have a strong foundation in a few different topics in order to be able to have a successful ethical hacking career. Think of building a house. If you build a house on a weak foundation, that foundation could collapse and then you're screwed, right? So if you think about it with ethical hacking, if you start building skills with hacking, you just jump right into it, you're either going to be lost or you're going to lose some of the fundamentals that you should have, and then your foundation is going to be weaker than it should be. So it is critical to build up a strong foundation first. If you build that weak foundation, there's chances that you're going to spend even more time trying to go back and figure out what it is you missed, and you could have just spent the time on it to begin with. So also, the other thing to point out is that ethical hacking is an incredibly cool field. It sounds awesome. It sounds sexy. It is sexy. You get to break into people's stuff for a living. You get paid to do that. That's awesome, right? However, there are, downsides. There's things that people just don't realize that I need to point out before we get started. This is kind of the disclaimer before we get into everything. So I want to make sure that you are aware what you're getting yourself into before you just dive in head first into the deep end before learning how to swim. Now, we have very good jobs in ethical hacking. We have very high salaries. I like to think of it as basic economics. If you have a high salary and we have a job shortage, which we do, we don't have enough people to fill the jobs that we have, well, that's going to skyrocket the salaries. We have supply and demand. A lot of demand, not enough supply, salaries are skyrocketing. It looks attractive. The idea of hacking is attractive. But what people don't realize is it is a complicated and rough journey to get there. A lot of people burn out on the concept of breaking into the field of cybersecurity and ethical hacking because they don't realize what it actually takes to break in. Okay, so with that being said, we have to have certain personality traits to be successful in ethical hacking. The biggest one is that you have to be a lifelong learner. You have to be somebody that is willing to put in the effort all the time. You cannot be somebody that just gets to the point to where, hey, you're an ethical hacker and then you check out. You can't be complacent. You see people that are complacent in all walks of life and all different types of jobs. There's people being happy with where they're at, working in the same field for 5 years, 10 years. They can be a junior level person and just be content. That is not the personality type of an ethical hacker. An ethical hacker is somebody that goes home and they study and they're always learning because stuff is always changing. Things are always moving. There's always new cyber attacks. There's always new defenses to those attacks. It's a cat and mouse game that is never ending. So if you're the type of person that doesn't want to put in the work, that doesn't want to study, if you're complacent, this is not the field for you. Click X on the video right now. Get out of here. Okay, if it still sounds interesting, if you think that when you get into the ethical hacking field, this is going to be the field for you, this is going to be something where you go to work every day and you say, hey, I love this. This doesn't feel like work. I could put 60 hours in and it's fantastic. Then you're in the right place. Let's keep on going. So with that disclaimer out of the way, I want to go ahead and talk about the foundations. And with that, we're going to move to my computer. So the first basic foundational skill you're going to want is basic IT skills. So by this, I mean your standard break fix help desk type skill set. Can you build a computer? Can you identify its parts? Can you troubleshoot and fix issues? This is similar to what would be the CompTIA A+ certification. So if you've never heard of any of this, if you're kind of weak in your basic computer skills, then I've got some resources for you. Now you can utilize the timestamps below, by the way. If you say, hey, I'm good with basic IT, you can kind of skip to your foundational timestamp. If you're past the foundations, you want to get right into the hacking, just go ahead and do that as well. So from here, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of the resources that I have and truly adore for the A+. Now, the first resource is Professor Messer. He is absolutely fantastic. If you have never heard of Professor Messer, he is a resource that is great for not only this A+ CompTIA base certification here, which is that intro level help desk certification. He's good for, if you see up here, Network Plus, Security Plus as well. This is all free training. So if you just go to professormesser.com, and all of the links that I'm going to be talking about are also going to be in the blog post that I put out. So I'm going to link the blog post in the description below. So if you want to find any of these links, just go to the blog post and you'll be able to click on any of these directly in order. So if you scroll through here really quickly, you'll see that, hey, he goes right through the A+ training material. He talks about mobile devices, networking, hardware, etc. So this is your, I've never built a computer, I've never done any troubleshooting on a computer type deal, and it's a fantastic, free, great resource. Now, the next website I want to show you is a paid website. So I'm not even sure how much CBT nuggets cost at this point. I think it's probably close to $90 or $100 a month, but don't quote me on that. There's pricing up here. For CompTIA A+, this is a great resource too. You can come here, click on CompTIA A+ Core 1, and you'll see your teachers. Keith Barker here is a fantastic resource. I actually used him for my A+, Net+, Security Plus as well. On top of Professor Messer, I think they are both great. If you have a short attention span, this CBT Nuggets is great because they're like 5-minute, 10-minute videos, and they're very, very entertaining, very easy to get through, and just simple. So Professor Messer, CBT Nuggets, you're going to hear me beat that drum a couple times coming up. The second foundational skill that we want to talk about are networking skills. So networking skills are incredibly important when it comes to ethical hacking. If I were to say to you right now, can you describe the OSI model? Can you tell me what service is running on port 22? Can you tell me what the TCP three-way handshake is? Can you describe it to me? Can you tell me what CIDR notation is? Can you do subnetting? If I'm sounding like I'm just spouting out pure gibberish to you, then congratulations, you need networking skills. Now, on top of what I just showed you, Professor Messer is fantastic. CBT Nuggets, fantastic as well. But there's a couple other resources I want to share. Now, the first resource is a gentleman by the name of Mike Myers. This is a certification course for the Network Plus. Now, I'm showing you a bunch of certification courses. It doesn't mean that you have to go and take the certification, although if you want the certification, it's definitely good to have, especially some of these beginner level certifications for getting a job and moving up, but you don't have to get it. It's not necessary. I'm trying to show you the cheapest things possible to still educate you. So Mike Myers is fantastic. When I was going through my Network Plus certification and learning about networking, I was trying to learn from Professor Messer. I think he's good. The only downside to Professor Messer in the Network Plus that I thought of, at least my opinion, was that he went in order of the syllabus. So CompTIA says, hey, you need to go through this specific order, and he did it. However, Mike Myers, he took the CompTIA syllabus and he arranged it in a logical format. So he doesn't follow it directly, but he still covers all the topics that are necessary to pass the exam. He breaks things down for you like you are a 5-year-old. He uses literal building blocks to show packets and different stuff. And I think it's really smart and a creative way to actually teach. So Mike Myers, hands down, is my favorite resource. Somebody also mentioned to me that this is potentially free on LinkedIn Learning. So if you go look for LinkedIn, you might be able to find this free. Otherwise, it's $10. It's not too bad. And I think it's a great resource for what you get out of it, 23 hours of video content. The other resource to mention is Cisco Packet Tracer. Now, I think this is good in conjunction with something like CBT Nuggets and a CCNA course. You can see that here for CCNA, this is a great resource. This is meant for teaching you Cisco equipment, Cisco command line, and just get the basics down. Now, if you go to this website, there is a introduction to Packet Tracer, and this will kind of teach you the basics or beginner of some of the networking and some of the Cisco stuff. I do think it goes really well or hand in hand with a CCNA type course. Now, you don't have to use CBT Nuggets, as that subscription again is a little bit on the expensive side. You could look for a course out on YouTube, or you could look for a course on Udemy or anything along those lines. But this course itself is a free resource, and I think having a CCNA is something that is beneficial for being an ethical hacker. So it's another one of those certifications to consider. It goes a little bit above and beyond the Network Plus, but it's still one of those good foundational certifications, or at least skill sets to have. All right, skill set number 3, Linux. We use a lot of Linux in ethical hacking. Primarily, we use what's called a Debian-based distribution. Now, typically we use something called Kali Linux or also Parrot Linux. You'll see some hackers actually choose to use their own builds and distributions, but it typically is Kali or Parrot. They usually dominate the industry. Now, fortunately for us, there are a multitude of free resources out there for individuals interested in Linux. Now, I'm going to provide you those in a second, but I want to tell you that learning Linux is similar to learning a foreign language. You can go to school, you can educate yourself, you can have somebody teach you, and that's good. You're going to learn, but if you dropped yourself in the middle of a country and didn't know how to speak the language and just kind of picked it up as you went by just riding the struggle bus, you're going to pick it up a lot faster, in my opinion. So I recommend just installing Linux, using it as your main operating system for a week, just a week. Just struggle through it, figure out how it is to operate it. Now, it doesn't mean you can't use that in conjunction with courses or materials. You sure should, but it helps to just immerse yourself in the environment and learn that way. Now, with that being said, here are a couple of my favorite resources for learning Linux. Okay, the first resource is linuxjourney.com. Now, if you just go to linuxjourney.com, you come through here, it has all sorts of awesome lessons, just awesome lessons. Look at all these. It even recommends books if you want to learn from a book, but you just click on one of these lessons here. You can get started, and look, this just talks about all the different types. They have exercises, they have quizzes. It is amazing, a fantastic resource, and you can just use this website. Easy, free, beautiful. All right. The other resource that I like to recommend is a resource called Over the Wire. So this is a resource where you come in here and you just try to learn Linux through doing some challenges. Now you see they have all these different challenges over on the side. So they have these war games. The one I'm in right here is called Bandit. You start with level 0. It tells you what your goal is. You need to connect to the lab. Now this is going to be on the little bit of an advanced side. You have to figure out how to log in with SSH. If you've never done that, you might want to start with the Linux journey first, understand that, and then just come in here and start doing the levels. And it's kind of giving you hints. It says, hey, okay, if you've never used SSH before, you might need to use that command. If you don't know what it is, come in here and read about it. Okay, you complete the level. Guess what? You get to come in here. You get to learn some more commands. I think it's a fairly awesome way to learn Linux. Again, riding the struggle bus, just learning, gamifying it just a little bit, and having fun. So these are my two favorite resources for sending people to learn Linux. On top of this, On top of this, you can also use YouTube, Udemy. There's all tons of platforms out there. If you look on my channel, I even have a Learning Linux for Ethical Hackers video. So there's short video series all over the place for learning Linux. It should be something that you can absolutely do for free. The last important foundational skill set that you should learn are coding skills. Now, for coding and scripting, you really need to be able to read code at a minimum to be successful in this field. You do not have to be a full-on developer. The better you are at coding, the easier life will be. However, I've had a successful career without being a developer by any means. I'm actually pretty terrible at coding. So for coding, I do recommend starting with Python. Python is a very beginner-friendly language to learn, and there are a ton of resources out there for it. Now, what I'm going to show you, if you go looking on your own, make sure, and I'm going to stress this again, make sure you look for learning Python 3. Python 2 is now deprecated, it's end of life. You might see resources for learning Python 2. Just avoid them. It's better off to just learn Python 3 at this point. So let me show you some of my favorite resources. So my first resource is a website called Codecademy. If you come over here, you can just click on Python, and they have different courses here. Now they have a Python 3 course. You can see all the different things that they've got. Here's the Python 3 beginner friendly course. I would recommend starting with this. Now you see it is a pro course. That means that it could cost money. However, the nice thing about Codecademy is that even though this is a pro course and it does require a subscription, they give you a 7-day free trial without having to pay, without having to sign up with a credit card, without having to do any of that. You literally just register and you can begin this course. Now, if you go to the course, it's really, really nice. You get to learn all different sorts of things. They have a built-in code reader is the easy way to put it, to just utilize your code on the website. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to implement anything. It's all right here. There's challenges, there's lessons. It is absolutely fantastic. So I highly recommend Codecademy. On the other hand, another website that I think is top notch is a website called Team Treehouse. Now you can see that it has a 7-day free trial as well, and then it's $20 a month. 100% worth the $20 a month if you ask me. The videos are high quality. They have all sorts of lessons, and for $20 a month you get access to everything. So you can see that they have these tech degrees. You can come into courses and kind of look through the different courses that they have. I would look for Python here, but you can learn all sorts of different coding if you're interested in it. This is a great website. I've used it for a lot of different coding background. Now, I could not leave this video without putting Free Code Camp in here. Free Code Camp is a great resource. You can look them up on YouTube. They also have a website called freecodecamp.org. They are a nonprofit. All they do is teach code. I've had the pleasure of teaching courses for them. I've had the pleasure of being on their channel. You can see they have some Python stuff in here. Again, some of the curriculum that they might have might include Python 2. So make sure that you check it out and make sure that it has Python 3, but you can just click on their website, go to their YouTube channel, and you can see, look, Python in 4 hours. But this is from 2 years ago. So make sure if you look at this that you're checking it out and you're seeing that there are, there's Python 3 on there. And if you take a quick little peek, you can see, hey, I've got a course right here too. So anyway, with that being said, we are now through the foundation. So let's go ahead and move back. We'll chat for a minute and then we'll move on to what's next. Okay, you are through the foundations. You've got the foundations. Now what do? You're ready to start learning ethical hacking. Where do we start? Now, I'm going to be a little bit biased, though I do strongly believe that I am a good resource for this. I do want to point out that I have a course for this, okay? Now, this is where I think you should start, though I'm going to provide other resources as well. If you go to TCM Security Academy, you scroll down just a little bit, there's a course right here called Practical Ethical Hacking. You click on that. There are 25 hours of lessons in here that start out with, let's look at it. Okay, networking, Linux, Python. Remember the foundational skills I said you should have? They're here as well. And the cool thing about this course is that if you click on the preview button, you'll see anywhere there's a preview button all the way through all this attack and hacking stuff, The first 10 hours or so of this course are completely free. You can come in here, learn. You don't have to pay a cent. You don't have to log in. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to do anything. Okay, so you're going to learn all about hacking all the way through the first 10 hours. If you are interested in learning exploit development, Active Directory, and beyond, some of the really, really fun stuff, web apps, etc., you're going to have to come in here. You're going to have to pay for it, unfortunately. But there are 10 hours of free material here. So I really highly, strongly recommend coming here first because it does teach the basics. Now, beyond that, you also have the opportunity to learn this for free. So I released a similar course in 2019. You saw the free code camp just a second ago with the 3.5 million views. This is the same video, it's just on my channel. You can come in here and see that there are 15 hours of video content here. So it's a little more out of date. It's a little bit older of content, but if you're looking to just learn for free completely, you can come in here and learn through a lot of this material as well. And there's 15 hours of content here. Highly recommend doing that as well. So pick your poison. Okay, beyond this, I think it is great to start practicing with what are called intentionally vulnerable rooms or machines. Okay, there are a few websites out there. I'm going to show you a few different ones, but these machines are intentionally vulnerable, meaning that they're meant to be hacked. Now, Try Hack Me is by far right now my favorite resource for learning this kind of stuff. The nice thing is, a lot of this stuff is free. If you come here to Hacktivities, they have different learning modules that you can come in and work on. They have different learning paths. So if you're a complete beginner, you can start right here. They've got pen testing. They've got even Pen Test Plus related material if you're looking for a certification. It is absolutely awesome. They've also got different networks, Active Directory hacking, all kinds of stuff, okay? It is $10 a month. I think it's fantastic. The rooms are user designed. You can come in here. Let's see if they'll let us look at it without even signing in. Basically, what I like about this is if you come into their website, it holds your hand. This is a hand-holding website. Like if you've never learned anything about Linux fundamentals, this will walk you through all the fundamentals. It is fantastic. Same thing with networking and all these other things that they have. It is a great, great website for $10 a month. They do have free rooms. Like if you just saw what I clicked on, free, free, free. I do recommend throwing $10 a month their way and getting access to some of the VIP stuff and some of the more advanced hacking stuff as well. So in conjunction with this, there is a website called Hack the Box, hackthebox.eu. You can come in here. It's very similar to Try Hack Me in the sense that you are trying to come in here and hack some of these machines. Now, the only difference is you have to hack your way into Hack the Box. So you have to hack your way into getting this. And I think, honestly, it's a little bit more advanced. I would not start with Hack the Box. I would go to Hack the Box once you've kind of got some experience under your belt and you want to go challenge yourself and just have a little bit of fun. I would start with Try Hack Me and then go to Hack the Box, but I wanted to present that as being out there. Now, the other website I'm not going to show, I'm just going to mention, is a website called vulnhub.com. These are machines that you can download and then locally try to break into as well. Now, all of these are what is considered CTF style, capture the flag. You're basically trying to break into a machine and you're trying to own that machine. You want to be system or you want to be root at the end of the day. You're trying to capture the flag that is on that machine. So if you enjoy this, it's not the best way to be a pen tester per se. There's overlap in a lot of the skill sets and the methodology and the thought process. It's a little gamified because it's meant to be a challenge. It's not something that you might necessarily see in a real environment, but it's fun, okay? It's fun, it's challenging, it's a good time. So if you enjoy this, I also have a website that I can recommend to you. That website is ctftime.org. You can come to this website and they have events called Capture the Flag events. You can come in here and just look through some of these and say, hey, oh, here's an event going on. Can I just click on that and just go participate? A lot of these events allow remote access. They allow you to just participate and they're open to anyone and everyone. So come read through these, participate in some CTF events. My recommendation is if you are interested and you participate and then you struggle or you want to see how something was done, you couldn't figure out some of the flags, come look through the write-ups. Okay, you can read the write-ups, you can click on one of these and it'll say, hey, here's exactly how I solved this. Some of these are a little bit better than others. This is pretty, you can click in here and see if you have more details, but this will tell you, hey, here's how we solve this, here's the tools we use, and that will help you understand the methodology behind it and get better for the next time. Okay, once you have made your way through some Try Hack Me machines, you're doing some Hack the Box, you've done the course that I recommended, now what do you do? Well, we're going to get beyond the basics. We're going to talk about Active Directory. Now, Active Directory hacking, in my opinion, is one of the most overlooked categories by people looking to break into the hacking field. Given that 95% or more or so of the Fortune 1000 companies utilize Active Directory in their environments, it's incredibly significant skill set to learn. Now, Active Directory comes up a ton in interviews, and I find that a lot of people that I've interviewed in the past that had the shiny certifications we'll talk about, but didn't really have any work experience, they kind of really struggled with the topic of Active Directory. So this is something that if you're looking to get in the field, you really need to prepare for this topic and make sure, because it's definitely going to come up in interviews. Now, if you saw my course, you saw that there was probably, 5 or 6 hours on the topic of Active Directory hacking. If you go through that course, that will give you a solid foundation. For this section, this is going above and beyond those sections, okay? So what I'm going to show you here are a few places to start. Now, the first thing that I want to mention is an article that I started with when I was brand new. Now, that was this article here, the top 5 ways I got domain admin on your internal network before lunch, 2018 edition. The crazy thing about this article is that everything still works. It is 3 years later, and all of these attacks we still use on Active Directory hacking. So please read this article, understand why the attacks are important. If you go through the course that I mentioned, you will note that all these attacks exist within that course. You get to get hands-on and try them out. Above and beyond that, let's talk about Pentester Academy and a couple of other courses. Now, Pentester Academy is a great resource for learning Active Directory hacking. They have what is called the Red Team Labs up here. I think they are in the $300 to $400 range. You get access to an environment, you get access to videos and coursework and PDFs and stuff like that, and you get to learn how to hack Active Directory. It is a fantastic resource, something worth checking out. The other course I want to mention is a course from 0 Point Security, which is called Red Team Ops. This is a course that is also based on Active Directory. You can look at the syllabus here and kind of look through the different attacks that they have, but it is always sold out. Honestly, always sold out. This course has a long waiting list. It is, from everything I've heard, a fantastic resource for learning Active Directory hacking as well. So something to consider on top of everything that I've showed you. Now, last but not least, I want to point out some blogs that are worth reading and people worth following. Now, I'm not going to go through everybody that I mentioned in my blog just because I don't want to bog down this video too much. I'm just going to show you one blog and I'm going to mention them by name. If you're interested in learning more about Active Directory, please go check these people out, okay? So the first person is Sean Metcalf. His name is Pyrotech, TEK3 on Twitter. And he has this blog here called adsecurity.org. You come here, you can read all about Active Directory attacks. And it's just a fantastic resource. I think it's the best resource on Active Directory attacks and blogging in general on Active Directory that is out there. I will note that anything that I'm going to show you is pretty heavy stuff. So if you're not familiar with Active Directory, I definitely wouldn't start here. I would learn more about Active Directory, learn the basics, and then dive into this stuff. On top of that, anything by a gentleman named Dirk Janum, dirkjanum.io, howsec.com. Again, I'm not going to put all these out, but just go look at the blog. You can go see them. Anything by SpectreOps, Captain Jesus, Bytebleeder, Gentle Kiwi, Harmjoy, any of those people are fantastic resources, okay? Fantastic resources to get into Active Directory hacking. Next up is web application hacking, and web application hacking is in high demand right now. You might see the bug bounty posts, like we mentioned Intigriti earlier, the bug bounty platform. almost all of that is web application or maybe some mobile application. There's some other stuff too, but most of it's web application hacking. And that's where the big money is right now. That's where a lot of the industry is moving. And there are literally just jobs out there for people who are web application hackers. You don't have to know the network stuff, really. You don't have to know any of that other stuff. Just if you're good at web app hacking, there's work for you, and there will be work for you for a long time. So if you're interested in this field and you kind of want to learn this stuff, I've got a ton of resources, so many resources that I actually am just going to keep it in a tab here. And we're just going to go through these tabs really quick one by one. So Hacker 101 is a great resource here. You can go look at the video lessons. So they've got video lessons here on learning the different stuff. You can play with Capture the Flag. You can sign in, and if you do the Capture the Flag game that they have, you can actually get access to some of their private bug bounty programs, which I think is cool. You can come through here and look at the different playlists that they have for all the different types of exploits, and even the pen test series, which was done by no other than me here. So something to consider as well. All free resources, by the way. The Portswigger Web Security Academy is another great resource. You can come in here and learn all different sorts of attacks through their labs that they have. This is just a tiny amount of the labs comparatively to the View All labs. Hands-on, great exercises, very detailed, and just amazing, amazing stuff. I highly, highly recommend the web application or the Web Security Academy as well. Another hacker site, another university, Bugcrowd University. Come through here, watch some of the videos that they have, the different webinars. I think these are great. Pentester Lab has to be mentioned. This one is not free. I lied to you. This one is not free, okay? But it does have exercises. There are actually some free exercises here, I believe, but you want the pro, honestly. If you're gonna do this, they've got different things that you can come in here as well and look at all the lessons that they have just for web application hacking. I mean, it's amazing stuff. So something to consider. They've also got a boot camp. They've got a lot of awesome things that you can do, and this all ties into the web app stuff. Now, this might be overwhelming. I'm just throwing all kinds of stuff at you. This is what I'm talking about. When I said earlier in the video that there are a ton of resources, there's a lot of studying and learning to do, and this is why people kind of get overwhelmed. It's absolutely true. This journey into hacking is a long one, but it's something that if you put in the work and you do the studying and you are motivated, this is very, very rewarding field. All right, on to the second half. I am going to be biased again, self-plug. I've got a course on YouTube. If you just search beginner web application hacking, 5-hour course, 100% free. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to pay me $1, okay? So another resource out there, get your hands dirty with some hacking. I have to mention also OWASP.org. Now, OWASP.org here is the primary resource for all things web application security and web application hacking type deal. So if you look at the OWASP Top 10 project, this is the top 10 security risks in application security. So you see they've got injection as the top one, so things like SQL injection, LDAP injection, etc. Some of these other ones like cross-site scripting, and these are things like you're going to get interviewed on. Like you will be in an interview and they'll say, hey, what is the number one application security risk in the OWASP top 10? And you're going to have to say, hey, it's injection. And they're going to say, okay, what is injection? You're going to tell them what injection is. They might say, how do you defend against injection? You might have to tell them that. So knowing your top 10, super important for more than just one reason, okay? On top of that, the Web Application Security Testing Guide is an amazing resource. You can come in here, you can just literally click on the repo. They've got a PDF version. They have books. They have all kinds of stuff that you can just read through and learn how to pen test. And it goes step by step, holds your hand, and explains everything like you are 5, which I truly love. Last but not least, you can Google bug bounty write-ups. You can Google all sorts of things. If you are looking for, you could easily just go like, hey, I want to see a cross-site scripting write-up, or I want to see anything. You can come to a site like hackerone.com/activity. You can use Google. You can look at blog posts. There are all kinds of material out there for this. So there is all kinds of material out there for this, okay? So like this, for example, this is something that was a Twitter hack not that long ago that somebody got paid $7,700 for. Look, you can come through here and read the write-up on how they did it. This shows you how they did it. This is awesome stuff, and they got paid money for it, a lot of money for it, okay? So this is something to just kind of go through and look at and kind of read, and just on top of studying hacking and on top of everything else, see other people's methodologies, see their resources, see their write-ups, etc. Okay, next up is wireless hacking. Now, I know a lot of people that began their hacking interest in trying to hack wireless networks. Now, you should do this ethically, okay? Don't go out and try to hack your neighbor's Wi-Fi. Try to hack your own. It is incredibly basic and straightforward and easy, but we do wireless assessments. And you could literally learn how to do a wireless assessment or wireless hacking from a blog post and just having the right equipment, which is maybe $20, $30 spent on Amazon. It's not that difficult. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this over. I'm just gonna make this, I'm gonna do this real quick. And like literally this blog post will teach you how to run the attacks, how to do what you need to do. And within 30 minutes, you can be hacking networks. It's pretty cool, honestly. So there's really two types of networks that we're focusing on anymore. There's WPA2. And so there's WPA2 personal, which is like a pre-shared key. You can think of your home network. So if you have, I don't know, password 123 as your Wi-Fi password, all we have to do is intercept a handshake, and then we can, if you have a weak password, more likely than not, we're going to crack it. WPA2 Enterprise is a little bit more complex, though you can go learn about those through blog posts as well. You can learn about evil twin attacks, all different sorts of attacks. I just want you to be familiar with, hey, wireless hacking is a thing. You should be familiar with it, and you should know the basics of it. And if you do that, you can pick most of that stuff up from a blog post, or you could go watch some YouTube videos, or at worst, you can go spend $10 on a Udemy course, okay? But it's fairly straightforward. All right, the next thing to discuss are certifications. You hear people talk about certifications all the time. Ethical hacking certifications are no different. There are a million of them out there, and there's only a few that are really, really, really worth it if you ask me. Now, you'll hear a lot of people talking about the CEH, or the Certified Ethical Hacker. You'll hear people talking about the CompTIA Pentest Plus. In my opinion, you should avoid both of these. Okay, unless you have a job purpose requirement, which is something like the DoD 8570, or you need some sort of job requirement where you need this certification, I do not think that they are worth the time or the effort. So as of this posting, okay, as of this video, there's only one certification that I find to be the most valuable, to have the highest return on investment. That is not saying that this is the only certification out there that is worth it. I'm saying this is the one that I'm going to point you to first. Beyond these certifications, there are other ones out there. There are organizations such as SANS. There's organizations like INE and eLearn Security that have great value, and they have great courses and great instructors. However, they are more expensive than the certification I'm going to show you, and their return on investment is arguably less. Now, regardless of the certification you choose, and you should choose one to be competitive in the job market, you're going to have skills in basic exploit development and privilege escalation to be successful in these certifications. Now, I will talk about that in a second. Let's go ahead and take a peek really quick at the certification of choice. Now, certification of choice for me, as of right now, is the OSCP. So you see the OSCP here from Offensive Security. It is the gold standard. It's about anywhere from $1,000 to $1,300, and you basically... let's see, it is, $1,000 to $1,350. Depending on what you're going to do, you learn the basics, you learn how to hack, but it is a very challenging environment. It's something that people are afraid of. It's something that people fail a lot because it is hands-on hacking. The exam is 24 hours. You have to hack 5 machines. But this is one of those kind of gatekeeper certifications. The OSCP, by the way, is not going to teach you everything you need to know to be a hacker. Like, this is something that is a should have on your resume, but it's not something that is going to get you the job per se. Albeit, I've seen people get jobs just getting the OSCP and nothing else. Most of the times, you have to go back and learn that Active Directory, that web app, that wireless stuff to be competitive, okay? But this is kind of the place that you need to have something to stand out on your resume. This is one of those things. Now, when I took the OSCP, I think it was around $1,000 when I took it. My salary jumped up $20,000 as soon as I passed it. I got a job, was being a pen tester, and I mean, the return on investment, spend $1,000, get $20,000 in salary, pretty good for me, okay? So consider this. Don't fear the hype of this certification, by the way. If you heard about it and you're interested in it, don't fear it. It is a beginner level certification at the end of the day. It is something that you just kind of have to get through. It's one of those, you ride the struggle bus, you succeed, you're done, okay? Now, with that being said, there are two topics that are a part of this that you're going to need to learn. The first one is what's called exploit development. Now, this is, you can see here, buffer overflows. Basic buffer overflows. Now, this is not just for the OSCP, but like the eCPPT, which is from eLearn Security or INE. There's other certification exams too that have these exploit development type aspects to them. If you're interested in that and you need to learn a basic buffer overflow, I have a video series, which I'm just going to open it up and bring it over here. So I have this series here on buffer overflows made easy. Again, it's one of those things that's free, easy to do. You don't have to really do that much with it, and you can learn a lot. So it's one of those things that I feel like are overhyped from a lot of people. Like, oh my gosh, I have to learn buffer overflows. It's really not that bad. Also, if you go to our blog, there is a blog post on it, and you can see all the details in here on what you need to do to perform a buffer overflow. Again, it's really not that bad. It's fairly straightforward. If you could do the buffer overflow from the video, from the article, you will be fine on any of the exams that you do. Additionally, there is a Try Hack Me room made by a gentleman named Tiberius or Tibsec. Here it is, buffer overflow prep. You just come in here, you can see all the different types of overflows that he has, and it's basically meant to prep you for the OSCP. So a great resource. Again, as always, everything that I'm listing or talking about now is going to be a part of the blog post. So if you're interested in any of this, just go find those links there. Now, I'm bringing up, and you can hear these are probably going to have a little bit of talking, but live overflow and also Ginvale, I always say his name wrong, but both of these channels, by the way, if you're interested in taking exploit development above and beyond what you're going to learn in the OSCP or you're going to learn in these blog posts, these are two channels to follow, okay? Two channels to follow. Live Overflow is huge. He's a huge YouTuber. This guy, not so much, only 20,000 subscribers, but he has fantastic videos and resources as well. In terms of learning how to do exploit development, learning assembly, stuff like that. So please consider checking out their channels as well. Now, the other topic of what we have to talk about for something like the OSCP is the topic of privilege escalation. Now, I'm going to pimp out my course one more time, but we have privilege escalation here. So when we talk about privilege escalation, we're talking about escalating our privileges on a machine. Now, if you're hacking into a machine and you get to a machine that is, you get in and you're a lower level user, basically you're not an administrator. Well, you need to escalate your privileges on that machine. So you take you take what you learn or what's around you, you enumerate, you figure out how you can hack that machine, elevate your privileges, and completely own that machine. Now, if you're doing an exam, doesn't have to be the OSCP, but you could do an exam, you do CTF type stuff, any of the Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, they're all going to have some form of privilege escalation that you need to know to be successful. Now, I've got a Windows course and a Linux course for how to enumerate and escalate. There are also courses out there by Tiberius, who I just mentioned for the Try Hack Me room that he built here. And we also have free labs for this on Try Hack Me. There are privilege escalation labs and stuff out there. On top of learning privilege escalation, there are from a course, there are a ton of guides. Like here's a guide here on learning Linux privilege escalation, and you can take this and Google a bunch of different guides as well and figure a lot of this out. But I highly, highly recommend doing the courses as they will guide you, hold your hand, and help you learn some of these tips and tricks. Okay, and we're nearing the end of the video, and I feel like it's been long-winded. I know it's going to be a long video, but it has to be. It's one of those, like, you have to have all the material that I can provide you and I want to put out there. And even in this video, because it's so long, I'm kind of, I don't want to say skimping, but I'm skipping over some of the topics that I really want you to go learn and study. Now, the last thing I want to show you here is I want to show you just some of the resources that I think are valuable. Now, this is going to be on the blog post. I'm not going to go one by one. I'm just going to kind of quickly go over this. Let's take a look one more time at the blog post, and then we're going to go ahead and cap this out. So near the bottom of the blog post here, if you scroll all the way towards the bottom, you're going to see a section called Content Creators. I would love to come in here and just show everybody's YouTube channel and how awesome they are and all their Twitch channels and stuff. There's just a lot, okay? These are my recommended follows. If you're looking at these people, this is somebody that you should definitely be following, and you should watch their Twitch stream or their YouTube channel, or however it is you want to absorb your information. Now here in the general hacking section, these are the people that I find incredibly valuable for just overall general hackers. Could be CTF, could be just your everyday hacking, okay? From a web app or bug bounty perspective, if you're interested in that side of the house, these are my recommended people. Highly, highly recommend to go through this list, check them out, see which ones you like, and take it from there. Last but not least, I think that communities are super important. Muy importante, okay? You should join a Discord community, a Slack community, whatever it is that, you know, really gets you going. But the benefit of a community is that you can go and ask people for help. You can go help others. You get to network with other people. I cannot tell you the amount of people that just in my Discord community alone have found jobs because of people they met, have found jobs because of the resume help that we provided, or just from the learning experience. And it's just a great place overall to meet people. We're all a tight-knit community in this hacker community. And it's great to be able to meet other people and to have friends, and you know, you get together at conferences and meet each other, and it's a great place to be. So I'm going to shamelessly plug one last time. I have a community here, TCMSec Discord. We've got 20-something thousand people in the community. There's also NetSec Focus, which I think is great. NamSec, which you see up here as a bug bounty hunter. If you're interested in bug bounties, he has a Discord as well that I think is great. And last but not least, if you have ever served in the military and you're a military veteran, or you're active in the military, I do recommend checking out the Slack community at VetSec over at veteransec.com. Another great place to learn and to just network with other individuals. All right, I am literally going hoarse. I'm exhausted. My voice is, I'm losing my voice here. And I have put together this entirety of resources. It's not all inclusive. There's other resources out there, but this, I swear to you, if you take the path that is in this video, that is in the blog post, and you stick to it, you spend your 2021 learning the materials that are in there, you will be on your path, and the right path, to becoming an ethical hacker. Okay, this is the place to be. This is the technical side of things. Now, there's more to learning to be an ethical hacker from a reporting perspective, from a just being able to present and write perspective, and that's stuff that you'll have to learn too as you go. But from a technical side, you want to be a hacker, this is where you start. This is what you do. So again, I really want to thank you for watching this video. If you made it all the way through, round of applause, good job. Thanks again to Intigriti for sponsoring this video, and thank you for being a subscriber if you are. If you're not, please again consider hitting the bell, subscribing, hitting that like button, commenting down below. So that's it for this video. Until next time, my name is the Cyber Mentor, and I do thank you for joining me. Peace out.